This is the show where we take a look at labels that were around for a short time, had a really big impact in the industry, or at least a semi-big impact in the industry, and then went poofta for no reason of their own or because of everything they did. It could have been either one or the other. This is Labelnova. I'm TC Kirkham, TKR Video Central, and the Kirkham Report. This week we're doing one I wanted to do. Usually I put up a poll. I may put up a poll this time, we'll see. But I've been wanting to do this one. I did a couple of really long ones over the last month, and I wanted to do something that was a little smaller, but had an interesting history. And that is why I picked the label I picked. The label is the Boardwalk Entertainment Company, otherwise known as Boardwalk Records. It was owned by Neil Bogart from 1980 to 1983. Neil Bogart was, of course, the head of Casablanca for many, many years. And, of course, in 1980, when new owner Polygram got an eye as to what was going on over there in Casablanca during the disco and drug years, they booted him out without any ceremony, and Bogart bounced back to form Boardwalk Records. It only lasted 3 years, a little over 3 years, because Bogart was diagnosed with a form of cancer. He passed away in 1983 in his early 40s, if I'm not mistaken. Now, his two sons have revived the label as it's pretty much a reissue label. I don't think there's too many new acts signed to it. We're not looking at that. That's Boardwalk Entertainment Group rather than Entertainment Company, although they use almost the same logo. So what we're going to go do is talk about the label that was around from 1980 to 1983. In that short time span, they released 141 singles, but I'll tell you something, their track record wasn't the best. Despite the names behind it and Bogart's ability to sign some really good artists, including some big name artists, they only had 11 top 40 singles in that time frame. And of those 11, only 2 made it to the top 10, and both songs that hit the top 10 were by the label's biggest star, Joan Jett. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts broke big in 1982 with I Love Rock and Roll. It became the biggest hit on Boardwalk in its history. It remains in print on Joan's Blackheart Records label, which is distributed, I believe, by CBS now. But there were some big names that they managed to get onto the label. I mean, really big names. Some that were known as household names, others legendary names. And they were able to get some just occasionally for one album or something. And they did introduce a few acts to the general public of the 1980s. Joan Jett, of course, would continue to have big hits in the near future. Night Ranger's first album was released on Boardwalk before their contract was absorbed by Camel MCA, where they really hit it big with their third album. And there were other acts that were popular in different aspects in different ways over the years. Because this is a smaller label and they didn't have as many hits, the music segments are not going to be that big. This time it's just under 20 minutes. But I did manage to find all of the chart singles, and I've got a few of the also rans as well, including a couple I definitely want to talk about. So instead of continuing on rambling on and on right here, let me move it forward and we'll talk about the artists and the records in the back half. Let's listen to the music as we check out the musical history of Boardwalk Records from 1980 to 1983.
But I ended up taking a taxi, 'cause that's how I got this far. You see, 10 years ago it was the front seat, driving stoned and feeling no pain. Now here I am straight and sitting in the back, hitting 16 Parkside Lane. Together, baby, together, baby.
home where we can be alone. Crimson and clover. Now when she comes walking over, now I've been waiting to show her. Crimson and clover. Oh, it's fine if you got the time, but I ain't got the time to spare. Yeah, do you wanna touch? Do you wanna touch? Do you wanna touch me there? Well, do you wanna touch? Do you wanna touch? Do you wanna touch me there? Well, there, yeah.
25 years, I'm a kid on the run. I gotta pick up a action. Don't tell me you love me. Don't tell me you love me. Don't tell me I don't wanna know. Don't tell me you love me. Don't tell me you love me. Don't tell me I don't wanna know.
I'm Papa, the sailor. And I am what I am, what I am, and I am what I am, and that's all that I am, 'cause I am what I am. You got it? I think so, yeah. And I've got a lot of muscle, and I only got one eye, and I never hurt nobody.
Precious memories of a love so true. That's all I have left of you. Fantasy, crazy fantasy, girl of you and me. And well, let her dance with him, let her dance all night long. Well, let her dance with him all night long. Let her dance to her favorite song. Well, let her dance with him, let her dance all night long.
All girls want it, some are gonna get it, but you're the only one that makes me want to give it. All girls want it, some are gonna get it, but you're the only one that makes me want to give it. Time is running late, I can hardly wait.
And then the young girls dance their gypsy tunes and share the secrets of the moon. So soon you find a wife, and though she sees your dreams go poorly, still she joins your story of a life.
I'm so proud how she puts them down. She don't let nobody know, no. She don't let nobody but me. Nobody but me, y'all. I don't worry 'cause we're so tight. See each other most every night. She let me have a master key. It's why I trust her explicitly. All I know is la 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 means I love you, baby, baby, baby. La 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 means I love you. got your picture hanging on the wall, but it can't see or come to me when I call your name.
All touch, no contact. I pushed his hand away from me. I pushed his hand away from me. Splintering fragments of conversation. Oh, I'm a long way back home. Send me away, send me away. Oh, send me away, send me away.
Don't ever tell an angel when your heart's on fire. She'll treat you like a stranger and tell you all lies. Don't ever let that little girl know your one desire. Don't ever tell an angel when your heart's on fire. Never tell an angel when your heart's on fire. She will break your heart.
You only live once, let good times take control. It's so serious. Hey, come on, have a little fun. Be all serious. No party's just begun.
You're the star of the party. Every guy is giving you the eye. You're the star of the party.
Picture me with you, black and white will do. Picture me all over your room. Picture me inside, it's all you get tonight. Ooh, what a picture can do. I'm not the one who makes the rockets blast in your head all night. You say it comes so fast.
First love, let it be the last love. Let me be the only one, only first love. First love, let it be the last love. Let me be.
I couldn't find the house.
Well, this is the White House, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
I went to 1500.
Well, that's all right. Oh, listen, watch out for the...
I really wanna see you, baby. Oh, I really wanna see you, baby. Oh, you know you've been my everything. So please explain why have you been dodging? Little girl, but I think you're looking so fine. Do you wanna hold my hand? 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 Little girl, you take my breath away. Little girl, now tell me, what do you say? Always there when I need you. Baby, I think that you're out of and my touch has lost all its fire. And it's not me you love. Been so long since we shared a kiss. 'Cause she told me, yeah, she told me, yeah, she told me, yeah. Directly from the heart, 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 directly from the heart. Baby told me, yeah, she told me that she loved me true. I'm giving all to you. Please tell them, baby, we're sticking it. We're sticking it to you. We're sticking it. Sticking it. Baby, I'm sticking it. I'm sticking it to you. I'm sticking it. You and me are gonna stick together. We're going all the way, yeah. We'll ride the waves all through the stormy weather. I'm ready. I want to see the moonlight in your hair. I want to turn around and see you there. Well, come on down. I just want to know you. Well, I'll be around. I just want to show you.
Someday, you'll stay, please stay. You know I'll be right here with you through every season, every year with you. There is no reason we should be apart. Why did I wait so long
To tell you I love you.
Why did I wait so long?
Beg you to stay.
Why did I wait so long?
I just can't believe let you get away.
Video, baby. I keep video, baby. Video, video, baby. I keep video, baby.
I rushed home to get a quarter so I can have a chance to play a game with you. Meet at the video arcade. We'll play and play all.
Boardwalk was less all over the road than it was some of their predecessors that we've talked about here, including Big Tree and a few of the other labels that had private stock that had just like little bits of everything. Playboy. Neil at least knew what he was going for in a lot of the ways. And the way he was able to sign some really big names to new contracts. Boardwalk was competing with another big name new label, 1980. That was Geffen Records, David Geffen's new label. He managed to snag a bunch of big names too, including John Lennon and Donna Summer. Neil, for his part, grabbed singer-songwriter Harry Chapin and also former Beatle Ringo Starr, among others, as you heard in that montage. He also signed the legendary Southern California band Tierra. Tierra had been together since the mid-70s. They're still together in different formats doing stuff there. But they never really clicked in a huge way. Only one single on Boardwalk became a national hit. That was Together, which you saw there. Harry Chapin passed away not long. He was killed in a car accident not long after the release of that Bubbling Under song, Story of a Life. It was out at the same time as his accident. And Chapin was, revered as a singer-songwriter in the 70s, of course, writing Taxi, WLLD, Cats in the Cradle, a number of other radio hits. He was well known for his concerts, and people really enjoyed seeing him live. But his sales didn't really amount to much on Boardwalk. The same can be said for Phil Seymour. Phil Seymour was a member of the Dwight Twilley Band in the mid 70s. They had their label, Shelter Records, go belly up after the release of I'm on Fire over there. Um, Seymour signed a solo contract with Boardwalk in 1980, and or 1979 actually, and released "Precious to Me" from the first album. I have both of Phil Seymour's Boardwalk albums, and I've also gone back and collected his unreleased stuff and stuff released in England that wasn't released in America. Still trying to track down a couple of them. Seymour will be a focus of an episode or two soon, come January. We lost him very young. He was only in his 40s. And he was an amazing performer that I just really think deserved way better than he got. And he could have been on the way, although the second album for Boardwalk didn't really click. And I like the second album as well as I like the first one. So I'm really surprised that it didn't do that well. Carol Bayer Sager had been around for years as a songwriter. And right around, not that long after, the same time that she had her only top 40 hit was Stronger Than Before, she was also in the top 40 as a writer on Arthur's theme, Best That You Can Do, which she co-wrote with Christopher Cross, Peter Allen, and I want to say Burt Bacharach. I'm not sure if that's right or not. Burt and Carol were married at this particular point in time. They weren't anymore after a while. Carol had never had success as a singer, and when you listen to this album, it's a good album. She's not the best vocalist in the world, but she's also not the worst. She has a good voice. She does some good stuff, and Stronger Than Before became a bona fide hit in the summer and fall of 1981. And Kim didn't remember it, but it was all over Columbus and Newark radio stations when I was out there. Chris Christian's I Want You, I Need You was always one of my favorites. Christian has always been known better as a gospel performer. He's a winner of multiple Dove Awards. He had he also was known as a producer. He discovered and helped produce Amy Grant's early stuff. And also did a lot of other secular acts as well, non-secular acts too. And he was just fantastic. The one album he released on Boardwalk is still available. You can get it on whatever label owns it now. I forget. Bogart's estate sold it to his manager, who had been Robert Kardashian, and I think it's currently in the family's hands, but it is still available. And it's a great album of soft pop, some really good stuff on there, some great guest stars too. Ringo Starr's Rack My Brain was his final Hot 100 appearance to date in 1981. It's one of my favorite songs by Starr also. I always loved that song, and I wish it had done better on the chart. And Night Ranger would do much better in the future, but Don't Tell Me You Love Me became their first top 40 single, peaking at number 40. Sing Me Away, which has always been one of my favorite songs by them, did not do that well. And of course, like I said, they hit bigger when after signing with Camel MCA, and songs like Sentimental Street came out, and all those made them bigger stars. But by far, the unabashed star of the Boardwalk label was Joan Jett. Joan was already known for the Runaways from the 1970s, and she had been doing a couple of things. She did a couple of solo singles with Boardwalk, but they were never released as much as when her band got off the ground. 3 top 20 hits back to back from that one album. I know the sleeve was wrong for Crimson and Clover, but she did hit with I Love Rock and Roll, which spent a whopping 7 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Crimson and Clover hit number 7. Do You Want to Touch Me hit number 20. By far, she was the biggest star. Most of the other top 40 hits on Billboard from Boardwalk, the 11 of them, peaked below number 20. The only exception is Tiaras Together, which peaked at number 18. Everything else peaked at number 20 or below, the biggest of which were Phil Seymour's Precious to Me at number 22 and Harry Chapin's Sequel at number 23. So they didn't have much luck. They also seemed to throw their weight behind soundtracks from movies that bombed at the box office. There's been a critical reevaluation of Popeye, the movie with Robin Williams and Shelley Duvall and directed by Robert Altman. I'm wondering if it should have ever been a musical, but quite honestly, I haven't seen it since it came out, and I didn't like it very well then. And then, of course, they also had the soundtrack from Megaforce, one of the biggest bombs of the year in 1982, starring Barry Bostwick, known to Rocky Horror fans as Asshole, and which is what I get from Kim, and Perseus Kambata, who is best known as Ilea in Star Trek The Motion Picture. Both of those bombed. They had off and on success on other charts. Curtis Mayfield, who seems to have hit every label we've done on this show at one point or another. Curtis hit 103 with She Don't Let Nobody But Me, his only release from his only Boardwalk album. I mean, it's just like Starpoint got their start on Boardwalk before jumping. I believe they were on MCA, if I'm not mistaken, when they hit big with Object of My Desire a few years later. And then, of course, the non-charters are always fun. You had classic people coming to the label for the first time, like the Ohio Players, Roger Voudouris, who had a top 40 hit called Get Used to It in 1979 on Warner Brothers. Most of his stuff prior to that had been on Warner Brothers. His Boardwalk album, On the Heels of Love, came out in 1981. Rich Little, legendary comedian, they redid a classic Kennedy album, The First Family, a comedy album that Von Meter had put out in the 60s, focusing on the Kennedys. Rich put one out focusing on the Reagans, called it The First Family Rides Again. The single didn't go anywhere, but the album was a big hit. The band that I've spotlighted here a couple of times by using two of their songs instead of just one, The Innocents. The Innocents were an LA club band who were selected to be part of a television show that would air on NBC. I think it was called Make Me a Star. I'm not sure. That's what it was called in UK. That version, the UK version, was the original, and it turned Sheena Easton into an overnight superstar in England, and she later spread to America. The Innocents, not so much. They aired the one special on NBC one Sunday evening at 7 o'clock. The album did not do well. The show did not do well. It was like the bottom 5 that week in the Nielsen ratings. But it did include somebody that's become very well known. One of the Innocents was film composer Thomas Newman. He was their keyboard player, if I'm not mistaken, at the time, and he is now an Oscar winner, having written the scores for Wall-E and a bunch of other stuff over the years. Define Dancing, one of my favorite songs from Pixar films. But he started with the Innocents, and the band's members have gone on to be session musicians and known in other bands, but the album itself was not a hit. I need to look up states. There's a couple of people. I didn't get a chance to do it because I wanted to get this up on time, or relatively on time. But States has a couple of people on the cover that look really familiar to me. One of whom is actually a vinyl community member, and I need to look and see if I'm right about that. There was RH Factor's TV themes medley, Glued to the Tube. I'd never heard of this before. Me being both a medley fanatic and a TV theme fanatic, you'd think I'd have ever heard of it, but it went nowhere on the chart. Sunrise, who's sticking it there in the back end, they were the Isley Brothers backing band, and they came together to do this one album. And then there was the E.T. ripoff, Kenny and the Visitor, I'll Be Right Here, obviously a kid and somebody doing vocoder stuff, very much inspired by the stories of E.T. Why doesn't it surprise me that that was written and produced by Rupert Holmes? It doesn't surprise me at all. It's the kind of stuff Rupert Holmes is all over. Boardwalk Records is a very short-lived label. They did have a couple of cult hits that didn't chart that well. There was All Touch by Rough Trade, which I was completely unfamiliar with. It hit number 58. It has quite a following online. And Kim blew my mind. She remembers the Stompers, Never Tell an Angel When Your Heart's on Fire. They're from East Boston, and she remembers that song playing on the local video channel, V66, when it was in operation here in 84, I believe. I didn't know that song at all. She completely floored me when she's like, I remember this song. Always fun. So out of the 141 singles that Boardwalk Records did, how well would it have done if Neil had not gotten sick and passed away? Who knows? I think the labels were ready to pull the plug. MCA absorbed the label itself. I don't think they took any of the artists. Joan Jett for a while, but she later moved to CBS Records distribution for her Blackheart Records. Other than that, and of course by the time Neil passed away, Harry had already died, and there were a few other career fatalities. But it's an interesting label, and there. I mean, in all honesty, a lot of the non-charting stuff is as good as what did chart, which is not the case for most of these other labels we've looked at. In any case, you'll be able to hear all the songs in their entirety, I think, when I get this other thing going that I'm going to be doing in the near future, and I think you'll see it probably up next week sometime if I'm lucky, or maybe the week after. So keep watching for that. Also, it's going to be a new show called Labelnova Plus, and we'll see it. I'll talk about it when it gets launched. In any case, that is the short but interesting history of Boardwalk Records from 1980 to 1983. Neil Bogart, the impresario who had really taken Casablanca to new heights, couldn't quite manage it this time, and it's because he got sick. And hopefully their legacy will live on, because they have some great stuff that people love beyond Joan Jett. I love Chris Christian. I love the late Phil Seymour. I love the late Roger Voudouris. Some really fantastic stuff. I hope you've enjoyed this look at Boardwalk, and in 2 weeks we'll have another label. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do a poll yet or not. We'll see. If one pops up, it'll be up Sunday, so you can vote on which label we're going to do next time. Until then, if you haven't subscribed already, please do, and if you have, thank you. I really appreciate it. Your subscriptions mean a lot to me, as do your sharing this show with other label fanatics like ourselves. And please leave a comment. I love hearing from you, and I'd love to know if you knew some of these songs that nobody else might have. If you remember any song on the, Bubbling Under or the Below 40s. Excuse me. I'm trying to do this in the middle of work. And always love hearing from you on everything. As always, I'll be here for all my regular shows, and there's some changes going on this weekend that will blend themselves to everything else. I've been talking about them on the Kirkham Report. If you haven't seen that, you can check it out Saturdays at 4, or go back and check out the earlier episodes, because there's some interesting stuff happening. And I hope I will see you here in 2 weeks for another episode of Labelnova. Kim Takes On will be here next week. Until then, I'm TC Kirkham, TKR Video Central and the Kirkham Report. We will see you with more labels shortly. Ciao, baby.